Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. This is a rematch game, my Beastmen against an Ogre army that, if you watch my reports, you've seen recently. He won the last time we played, very anxious to get some revenge here. For the third game in a row, Blood and Glory scenario, so very happy with that. I really enjoy that one. So starting on the far left, it's not really in the picture, but he has an Iron Blaster, two Mournfang, then he has a unit of Ogre Bulls with a level 2 Butcher, a Lore of Heavens with a Dispel Scroll. Then he's got a big unit of Iron Guts with his Battle Standard Bearer. He's got the Armor of Destiny, and the unit has the Dragonbane banner. On the other side of them, he's got another unit of Ogre Bulls. This one has his General. Level 4 caster, he's got the item that if he inflicts a single wound on his unit, he gets +2 to cast every spell that magic phase. So that's a very powerful combination there. He has the ward save, as well as a weapon that every time he does a wound on a model, that model loses one attack. Let's see, a big unit of Noblars, 4 lead belchers, and then a scrap launcher. Facing him, I've got a unit of Harpy redirectors on my right. Put a chariot here as a means, hopefully, of taking care of those lead belchers. Razor Gore. You got 6 Minotaurs. Really what I was hoping to do with the Minotaurs is make it so that when they got in combat, it would be in the woods. And that way, whoever they're going against wouldn't be steadfast, and I might win through active combat resolution rather than through static combat res. Then I've got a horde of Gores. They have extra hand weapon, which is what I always take. They have 3 characters in there. The one on the left is my level 4 Lore of Shadow. He's got Stone of Spite and a 4 board save. I've got my Battle Standard Bearer with the Beast Banner, and I'm probably not going to take this build anymore. I love giving +1 strength to everyone in the unit, but he's just too fragile. He has a 5-up armor, no ward save. He dies way too easily. I've got my General. This build I really like. He's got a 1-up rerollable armor save. Every time he makes an armor save, he gets an extra attack, so he's just really brutal. And then he has Crown of Command. Next to that unit, I have a unit of Bestigor, and to the southwest of them, I have a unit of Gore in the building. They are joined with 2 level 1 spellcasters. One brought the Herdstone Shard, which is the piece of terrain just to the right of the building, and the other one brought a Dispel Scroll. All of my casters are Lore of Shadow. Behind the Herdstone, I have another unit of Harpies. So we go Ogre's turn 1. He moves up, as you can see. His Iron Blaster in the top left misfires, and it can't shoot this turn or next, which I was very happy about. During the magic phase, he got the beefed up version of Troll Guts, which affects that's regeneration for every unit within 12 inches. And I just let it go. I had all my dice to make sure he didn't get any direct damage spells off. I didn't think I'd be in combat with him on my turn anyway. He's so far away, so I thought I'd just save my scroll, save my dice. During his shooting phase, he shot my chariot, which I thought was kind of mean-spirited. But yeah, the chariot died. Luckily, I didn't fail any panic tests. I was very worried about that. So we go to Beastman turn 1. So my Bestigor charged his Mournfang, and he fled. And then I redirected into his Iron Blaster, and he fled again. That surprised me a little bit because he was so far away. It was actually a difficult charge to make. His reasoning was that he couldn't shoot this turn or next anyway, so he might as well flee. And then if he rallies, he can, shoot from wherever he's at. The problem, of course, is that he's got relatively low leadership, and he did not rally and ran off the board. So anyway, that surprised me. It did set up for some nice flank charges into my Bestigors. So I have a unit of Harpies there, and their purpose is to try to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, if you watch my previous battle report, that piece of terrain, we treated the rocks as impassable. This game, we're treating those rocks as simply dangerous terrain. So if you look at the left side, what I'm looking there is if he charges the Harpies, he'll be in the flank, and he'll easily beat him and overrun and probably get into the flank of my Bestigor. So I want my horde of Gore to be able to countercharge into his flank before we actually fight that combat. So I had to park my Razor Gore in front of his General's unit to make sure his General's unit couldn't just march up and make it so that couldn't happen. So that's what I'm doing there. On the right-hand side, I fly my Harpies up to provide some hard cover so his lead belchers couldn't shoot the Minotaurs. And there's just a close-up. And we go to his turn. So, starting on the right-hand side, his Gnoblars charged my Harpies, and I don't remember what my thinking was, but basically I decided to flee. If I had held, he would have won, but he just would have overrun past my Minotaurs. I probably would have passed my panic test, and that whole combat would have provided cover from his lead belchers. But for whatever reason, I fled. It looks like it does. There on the left-hand side, in all honesty, I don't remember all the weird things that happened because he was charging, I was fleeing, he was redirecting, he was making choices that surprised me. And I'm not saying they were good or bad choices. At this point, I just don't even remember what they were. But when all was said and done, my Razor Gore fled from his leftmost unit and just stuck right there in front of my horde, which may have been his intent. He charged my Harpies, I fled, and then between all that, he ended up just kind of failing his charges. So I really can't complain. My biggest fear was him getting into the flank of the Bestigor. His Mournfang rallied, which I thought was unfortunate. I was kind of not unlucky. I mean, it was probably should have rallied, but I was hoping they'd go off the table. His lead belchers, now that I don't have any cover for my Minotaurs, he killed 2 of them, 6 wounds. And we go to Beastmen turn 2. So my Razor Gore rallies. My Minotaurs go ahead and charge his general's unit. I don't love my odds there, but the problem is, if I don't do it, he's just going to charge me, and it may just keep on shooting that unit. So I really have nothing to lose. I'd love to pick off that general. My horde can't do anything because of where the Razor Gore is, and now I don't like that he's close enough that he should make all the charges he wants to make and can pick and choose. So what I decided to do is just to move my general up and just give him a bait. You know what? Charge me. He's got a very survivable build, and he has Crown of Command, so he'll be Stubborn 9 rerollable. So kind of happy with that. A big mistake I made was knowing that I'm going to be getting my Gore unit into combat soon. I don't know why I left my Great Bray Shaman in that unit. So otherwise, it looks like that. There we go. Bring it on. So this is the combat I'm really worried about. We're going to a magic phase. We both have level 4, so I'm not guaranteed of anything, but I'm hoping to get some kind of debuff on him to make this combat go my way a little bit better. And it worked, but I also got really lucky with the dice. Basically, I was able to lower his strength, I believe, lowered his strength by 2. So he's only strength 2. It's taking 6s to wound me, and so he only ends up doing 4 wounds. I don't know what odds are, what should have happened, but I wasn't complaining. I did 10 wounds on him, which is absolutely crazy. Now these guys have extra hand weapons, so they're at 12 plus 3, 15 attacks. Getting 10 wounds, I think, is very, very fortunate. Of course, he was steadfast and stuck around. So we go to Ogre turn 3. He really wanted to flank charge the Minotaurs, but the Gnoblars couldn't do it because the lead belchers were in their way. They couldn't complete the charge. The lead belchers couldn't do it because they couldn't quite see the unit because I lost the last model of my second rank. His scrap launcher could and tried to and had a failed charge. Otherwise, you can see he did take the bait, charging my general. He did not charge the Razor Gore, and I think the reason he didn't is because if he lined up to him, he would have beaten him and overrun, and I don't think he could have overrun into my Gore unit, and so it would have allowed for really easy flank charge with my unit. Now, if that happened, he probably could have fled. He probably just didn't want to take the chance of anything bad happening there. So anyway, that's what it looks like. This is the far right. His Mournfang charged my Harpies. On my turn, they did not rally, so they had fled, and so when he charged them, they had automatically had to flee, and it was a failed charge. We go to this combat. This time, even though all the odds were the same, of course I had 1 or 2 fewer attacks. Regardless, we did 5 wounds each. So this combat probably ultimately is going to go his way, but for the most part, I'm not complaining. It held his unit up. It's really weakening the unit. I think the Minotaurs are doing a good job for me there. This one, stuff like this is just fun. So he comes in, I issue a challenge, he just ignores it. So his even though we left his spellcaster in the second rank, technically he was in the back, he couldn't fight. But that's, he still had 12 attacks directed at my general. And I was saying, bring it on, because even at strength 4, I have a 2-up rerollable, because I have a 1-up naturally. So a 2-up rerollable, and every time I make an armor save, I get more attacks back. I end up doing I believe, 5 wounds on the unit. He did 1 wound on me, plus a charge, a banner, 2 ranks. So we tied at 5, and he had a musician. He won. I was stubborn 9 rerollable, and I stuck. So really was able to hold up that unit. What that does for me, though, on my turn, my Bestigors can do a flank charge into that unit, and then overrun into his battle standard bearers unit. So very, very happy with how that turned out. I took my 2 level 1s out of the house because I saw that his Mornfang cavalry could probably charge it, and even though they have to dismount, I think the odds were in his favor there. So I think I did it wrong. I think they can just step out and be 1 inch away. So, I mean, whatever. It didn't affect anything. So we go to Beastman turn. This Beastman turn 3. The Bestigors come into the flank of his spellcaster's unit, and you can see the beautiful lineup they have to get into the flank of his battle standard bearers unit after that. My Razorgore came in. I only did it because they had to get out of my Horde's way. So the Horde was able to make it into combat with his Iron Guts. And, I have so few models touching that, I'm not sure I'm going to destroy them, but if I can just, if those Bestigors come to the flank, that's going to make a big difference there. Bring my Harpies up so that he can't countercharge into my flank. And then during the magic phase, I got Occam's Mind Razor off again, which, again, I mean, it's wonderful to have. It's actually more of a deterrent to deter him from charging me next time. But as far as this combat, I have so few models in there, it's just not going to make that much of a difference. Now, one thing that happened too, my plan was to use the Lore of Shadow attribute with one of my level 1s to swap my BSB and just get him out of there. I don't need him for combat res. I need to just keep him alive. I thought I'd be maybe kind of sneaky, and so I switched these two. Or I'm sorry. What happened was I found out my level 1s were 19 inches away and not 18 inches away, so I couldn't do that. So then what I did is I just went ahead and swapped my BSB with my level 4, because my level 4 was the one in combat. I didn't want him to get killed. I didn't want to lose my BSB necessarily, but so I swapped these two first, and then when I tried to get the BSB out with one of my level 1s, it was too far away, and that's fine. I think I'd rather lose my battle standard bearer than lose my spellcaster at this point. The spellcaster did have the Stone of Spite, and so his general's ability to get +2 for every casting attempt is gone, so that's nice. I don't think I did any wounds on his general, but I wasn't necessarily expecting to. So, yeah, after combat, it looked like this. I mean, we tore up the unit that my general was locked in combat with, and then got into combat with, or the combat with his other unit. You can see I wasn't even able to make it in. It was just awkward. I just, my Razorgore tried to pursue his first unit that fled, and had to stop before my unit, which stopped my general, which stopped my Bestigors. Everything stopped, but I was still able to beat the unit in combat, and they broke. So I considered that, well, I was very happy with that. Now again, we're playing Blood and Glory, so he just lost 2 regular standards and his battle standard bearer. Those are what those 3 blue explosion things signify. So he's down to 1 banner and his general. So if I break the unit that my Minotaurs are involved with or kill his general, there's the game. So it looks something like that. More angles. So on his turn, he brings his Mornfang up. I think he knows he's not going to be able to hit my level 1s. I can dance behind the building, whatever I need to do. I'll just reform my Gores to face him next turn. Over here, there's not a ton of things he could have done. I thought he would have charged his Noblars into my Great Brave Shaman's unit, the Horde of Gore. But because I was had the Occam's Mindraiser off, he decided it'd be better just to shoot him. He does have a scrap launcher and lead belchers. So anyway, that's how it looks. Despite his not having the +2 anymore, he still just had a bunch of spells go off. I'm in a challenge finally with my champion and his general. And his general's down, I think, 3 or 4 wounds now. But now my champion is down 2 wounds, which means he's down 2 attacks, by the way. He lost combat, so he lost all his frenzy. So my champion is not going to be killing his general anytime soon. It's probably going to die next turn. So we go to Beastmen turn 4. I reformed my Gore at the bottom left, as I said I would. The Bestigore couldn't charge anything, just the way things were at, so they just moved up. My Razor Gore couldn't charge anything, so he just got out of the way. My general could, so I charged my general into the flank of his general's unit. Otherwise, I reformed what used to be my horde into something a little more mobile. So here's some close-ups. Here's what that looks like. And after combat, it looked like this. So I only had 1 wound remaining on my Minotaur, and he did that wound. So he had a wound on me. He had a standard. I had let's see, I had a flank, a charge, and my champion did do 1 wound on him. I think that's how it worked out. But basically, I won combat by whatever, and he was steadfast, but he failed it. And so when he broke, he lost his standard bearer, which is why we removed it, and that's the game. I don't think we even rolled to see if I overran or anything like that, because it just didn't matter. As soon as that unit broke, Fortitude was under where it needed to be, and that was the game. So the table looked like that. I was really very comfortable with my position. Even if we were playing a regular game, I think I would have had this one won, which is nice. I've lost a lot with my Beastmen lately. It's funny, I think my first 6 games with them I won, and then I've lost so many since. And, so it's nice to get a win. And it was a fun game, nice to get some revenge. I'm sure we'll play again sometime soon and see if he can get one back on me. So anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.